Hello and welcome to the channel if it's your first time here. I have not been this excited in a very long time because today I am ticking one of the top items off of my bucket list, the Buddhas of Bamyan in central Afghanistan. And I actually wasn't going to start this video until we reached the Buddhas, but the drive to Bamyan from Kabul is absolutely breathtaking. We're just arriving into the city now and you have to check out some of the scenery. It's absolutely spellbinding. On the way into Bamyan we had these gorgeous sort of rolling hills that took us down on the descent into the Bamyan Valley. And then if you look out the right side of the car here, you've got these sort of crazy rock formations jutting out at the most insane angles. Like some of them go straight up like pillars, some of them sort of jut out, and they look alien, like the sort of thing you'd expect to see in a sci-fi movie or on another planet or something. And they're the most gorgeous sort of deep red ochre color as well. And so we've actually just arrived at the site of the Buddhas. I thought it would have been a little bit more out of the way, but it's literally one road out of the city centre. Bamyan's not a massive city anyway, but yeah, this is absolutely incredible. I'm actually a little bit giddy. Like, this has been something that's been on the top of my bucket list for so long. And just quickly, upon entering the site with my host, the guy on the ticket office and some of the Taliban who are guarding this place told my host that foreigners aren't allowed in, but my host thought really quickly and he played me off as Nurdistani, which is like an ethnicity up in the north of Afghanistan who tend to have white skin. So we're in here tentatively, without permission actually. So this is it. Welcome to the Buddhas of Bamyan in central Afghanistan. A bit of background for you. These things are, or were at least, sort of giant stone Buddhas carved directly into this mountain face in the 6th century. So these things are older than Islam. These things are only like 500-600 years older than Christianity, right? And so they had stood for 1,500 years. But unfortunately, when the Taliban took power for the first time in Afghanistan in 1996, they began to draw up plans to demolish the Buddhas because they were considered idolatrous. They were creating images of a false god. And eventually in 2001, that's exactly what they did. They blew the Buddhas up. There's actually some really fascinating archival documents online about the logistical process that the Taliban went through to actually demolish these things. Like, obviously, it's not just the case of getting a bunch of dynamite and blowing them up, right? Like, these things are carved directly into the mountain face. It's not like they're freestanding. If something goes wrong, like, the whole mountain's going to come down with it potentially. And so the Taliban actually brought in a team of international engineers and explosive experts to help demolish these things. And the process actually took several weeks and it was very methodical, and eventually at the end of it all, unfortunately, it was completed, and now all that are left of the Buddhas of Bamyan are these sort of outlines of where they once stood. So over here we've got where the biggest Buddha used to stand, and then you can see this giant sort of rock face that just stretches for miles, and then there's a sort of smaller one over here, and then over here there's a sort of tall thin one. Let's go and have a look at that now. Wow, man, I didn't quite realise that you could just actually walk up to the outlines of where the Buddha stood. I thought they would have been closed off, but no, we're walking right up there now to one of the big ones. Wow, look at that. That is incredible. Oh, cool, and there's a sign here as well. Site of the small Buddha. Right, so this is actually the smaller of the two, and it's absolutely huge. You can see 4th and 5th against it, I don't quite know what that is. This natural monument with unique importance to humankind will be safeguarded by UNESCO and the Japanese government. So the Japanese government's obviously done sort of some restoration work on the site. Beware of falling rocks, do not enter. Yeah, and you can see here there are some huge chunks of the original stone still lying about. Yeah, this is really quite magical. I'm a little bit starstruck. Like, you always see photos of places like this on the internet. But then when you finally come here, it's always, 100 times better. It always exceeds expectations. And yeah, I can't believe my eyes. And here you can see one of the outlines of the smaller Buddhas. Lots of people seem to think there were only 2 big ones, but there were actually quite a few smaller ones as well. And let's just zoom in here. You can actually see some of the original structures still remaining, right? Because these things weren't freestanding, they were carved directly into the mountain face. And as you can see on this rock face behind me, there's all these sort of other smaller bits carved out of it as well. I don't actually know if these were like smaller Buddhas that were destroyed with the bigger ones, or whether these are like sort of, I don't know, like small village homes or something, but I think we can actually walk up there and check them out. Yeah, wow, I guess these sort of were all smaller ones. Like you can see this here is definitely in the same shape as the bigger Buddhas. This is incredible, man. Wow, and look up close in the smaller sort of holes carved into the rock, you can still actually see like some kind of painting that's been left behind in there. Wow, man, that's amazing. Yeah, and I'm super keen to go and check out what's in these holes up here, so I think there's a pathway. Yeah, surely these can't be natural formations, like, I don't think they'd form in this sort of circular shape here, so let's go and have a look inside one. Yeah, it appears to just be sort of like a closed cave, and so I guess there was something in here and it got blown up. Wow. But I tell you what, whatever was standing here had a pretty good view over Bamyan city. Isn't this just the most amazing thing? Look at this, man, just hills and mountains for miles. You can see we've got snow up there. It's summer in Afghanistan, but it still snows up in Bamyan. And these sort of awesome sort of banded mountains with different colours on them. Yeah, this is just beautiful. And there are actually just like normal homes sitting at the base of the Buddhas about 100, 200 feet away. This would be a pretty cool place to wake up to every morning. Yeah, check it out. It's just like normal village living. You've got like fields here and then homes in the background, and then that's your view when you wake up in the morning. Not bad, eh? But yeah, just like one of the biggest shames in history, and almost just for no reason whatsoever, like totally counts as cultural erasure. And yeah, I just really hope the new Taliban government learns from what they've done in the past, and sort of doesn't continue the trend of blowing up these incredible like historical and archaeological sites that are thousands of years old. They could be put to so much better use. Like imagine kids coming here and learning about the history of their country, and it'd be brilliant. But yeah, so now I guess it's good at least that the outlines of the Buddhas still remain, and hopefully they can serve as a lesson to sort of future generations and future Afghan governments not to destroy history for the sake of it. But yeah, some of the guys guarding this place are sort of catching on to the fact that I'm a foreigner, and they're getting a little bit funny about me filming. So that's going to do it for today. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more of the incredible historical and archaeological sites available in Afghanistan, do like, follow and subscribe. Until next time.